Hi, I'm Craig Renwick, and you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush.
Two guys talking rush. Two guys talking rush. Two guys talking rush. Two guys talking rush. Two guys.
And now, get ready for the Two Guys Talking Rush podcast with your hosts, John Kane and Dan Buxton.
I sort of put them in, they can ignite whatever story you want to go with. So
Yeah, I'll let you run with it. Can you see?
Yeah.
All right, bear with me one moment, please. Oops.
Yeah, if you will go back to number one.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm trying to get there. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Here we are.
There we go. Now here you go. Here's a typical case of being a total goofball. And that's my wife in the background. We're at the equestrian center. Wanted to come over and see our horses. My wife rescued 2 horses from the track, so we're over there, and I'm doing some photos of the horses. And of course, that goofball behind me doing the old finger behind the head thing. That's how much respect I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this photo, and I'm looking at Neil's hand. It's resting on his. He really had big hands, huh? Did he have big hands?
Big forearms.
Big forearms. Yeah. From playing so much. Yeah, that's incredible. Did people recognize him when you were out with him at all? He seemed like he blended right in. I would never recognize Neil. Yeah, he just kind of was just blended right in, right?
Yeah. No, nobody knew who he was.
Amazing.
Now this is at a band fest. And, he would never, I was completely shocked when he says, okay, let's do a selfie. I was like, I never, he never really got into the internet until later on and whatever. And it actually to do a selfie with him was like, oh, okay, sure. So,
Nice.
Yeah, that was actually a nice day. We did go to a band fest once we took his daughter, Olivia, to the band fest, and it was raining for quite a lot of it, and finally we just packed it in. It was just too much, but
Wow.
we're Canadians. We're tough. We don't.
Yeah.
What's a little rain, right?
Totally, man. He's got cool glasses on. You do too. You sort of like John Lennon glasses on. I would dig it.
Oh yeah. And my wife's that was my wife's show, Cold Case. So okay, now here, these are like.
These are beautiful.
Again, this is the humorous side that people don't know. He would call me up, and typically with each tour, as I'm sure you guys have read about, is that he would do rehearsals by himself for like a whole month or month and a half, just him with the set list that Ged and Al would share. They would build the set list, and he would play it over and over and over and over, just 5 days a week at DW. We would go up there, and he would call me up. He says, I need some rehearsal photos, so come on up. And of course, I'm going to be a goofball as much as he is. And so I remember when I shot this I was trying to get something set on my camera or whatever it was. And I look up and he's like conducting an orchestra. I was like, yeah.
Love it. It's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
You also shot the Star, the Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony, didn't you? Yeah, because we share friends of the show, Donna Halper, and Donna's your colleague as well. So yeah, I remember seeing those photos.
I love the photo of that I took of her there.
That's a great photo. Yeah, this is a beautiful photo. Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Well, I think that might have been the next day. I'm not sure when we shot that, but you can see, of course, a lot of the fans and you don't get an opportunity to see the kit in such detail.
No.
And I mean,
I never knew he had a hi-hat behind him, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that would spin. I mean, I think
yeah,
this is designed to spin, to be a complete round, right?
it's so completely nuts that that kit. I mean, every time I see his kit, and which would get bigger with every tour, I'm just I'm floored by it. Because most drummers, they have a couple of pieces in their kit and they really stick to that. And if they get more stuff, it's more for the look of it, I believe, than because they actually use them. He used every single thing in the kit.
Oh yeah,
everything had a reason to be there.
This is where Neil is. He's obviously a percussionist at a high level, but this is also where Neil is an innovator. I mean, I remember seeing Rush in the '80s and watching the kit spin. Now imagine, and I think he had been doing that on previous tours. Now imagine seeing that for the very first time. It must have been like science fiction to watch a drummer get up, have a kit spin, and then have another section to play in. I mean, that's complete. That's theater. That's theatrical, right? That's like an effect. It's efficient. It's innovation. It's efficient. If you want to have accessibility to play various instruments within your drum set, right? So he was doing some real innovative stuff with drum, the pre-recorded drum plugins he had, and the drum pads and electronic drums. I mean, man, it's just incredible to think of what he was doing at such an early time.
Yeah.
We play the marimba over there, and and a lot of these there'd be triggers in this kit that because each individual, Ged, Al, and Neil would be responsible for triggering a particular part. That's why I'm sure you've seen on the R40 kit, on both kits actually, El Darko and the R40 kit, with that little it looks like the Royal Air Force roundel that the Who would use.
Yeah,
that was his sort of homage, of course, to Keith Moon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, we love the Who, Dan and I. We were talking about that before you came on. It just came up in conversation. We were talking about some of the top bass players of all time, and of course, John Entwistle is right up there. But what a different style of drummer Keith Moon is, but just as impactful,
It was actually always surprising to me when he would say that Keith Moon was major influence, because to me Keith Moon is more like this like crazy, undisciplined, wild man, kind of a thing, which Neil is not by any, I would never even think to put them together.
Well, what album was
he came up playing, playing their stuff, and he would talk about it all the time. So,
I think people forget, like with the Who in particular, Who's Next, Tommy. I mean, 1969. They'd already been putting out albums prior to that, so. We tend to forget the chronology of these things. Beautiful shot. And another innovation is, and I remember specifically, is having the stands screw into the platform to avoid any compromised equipment falling over. Another. I mean, there could be a dissertation just on the innovativeness of Neil and his approach to playing live drums. Not the playing part, but just the setup, right? Incredible.
You would need to talk to Lauren.
Yeah, we'd love to have him on the show. I don't know if he's ready to, but he's always invited. We'll invite anybody on the show, man. I mean, it's an open door to be. Anybody wants to come on and plug anything they're doing, or
I remember I don't remember which tour. Lauren got sick, and
this picture is great.
Oh, Chris Stanky, right? Chris took over for him.
Chris was there, and George and whoever was there was trying to put it together, because everything is in Lauren's brain where everything had to go. There was no schematic for it. It was in college job security, I guess. This was so. I can tell you the story behind this one. It's a little more. Well, this is not necessarily a G-rated podcast, right? It's
not necessarily.
No. I mean, we might drop an F-bomb, or I'm from Boston. Dan's from Brooklyn. There's bound to be an F-bomb dropped every now and then. If people are offended, sorry, but that's how it goes.
Just don't get like too graphic is all we ask.
Oh, no. I was just gonna, he called me up to do some more rehearsal. What tour? This was, yeah. I used to come on up and do some photos, and okay. And I think I rode I have a motorcycle. I have a sidecar motorcycle.
Cool.
And I think I was the day I brought up the gear in my motorcycle. Anyways, I got there and he says, come on, we're going for a smoke. And I go out to the back of the warehouse and have a smoke, which is, it's the herbal smoking, And
we wouldn't know about that.
We know nothing about that. No.
Yeah.
Don't know what you're talking about.
It's green medicine. That's
yes.
So, and of course it's friggin', I didn't realize, industrial grade. And I needed some aerial shots. And I found this 15-foot ladder at DW. I dragged it into the room. I set it up. I'm up on the ladder. I'm up way the hell. I'm like, I'm up there high.
Yeah.
And I started getting high. And it started washing over me and going, holy crap, how am I going to get down from here? It's like, and so I'm trying to get a setting on my camera and I'm not looking at him. And I look up and he's doing this pose and I said, okay, you ass wipe. I'm doing it. Click, 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 click. And I fired off a few shots and then, okay, that was it. And he started right back into it. I look over at Lauren. He knows what's going on with me and he's laughing his ass off at me. So
I love it. I have to say, man, I've seen a lot of Rush photos and a lot of Neil shots, and this is probably one of my favorite shots ever, man. I love it so much. I love it because Neil is so stoic in the other shots. He's so still and he's like a monument, and this one, it's just so cool, It's like he's the best damn drummer in the world, and he's right there, man. It's so cool. I love it. What a beautiful picture.
Yeah. And look at this. I mean, look at that gear. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
Oh, please. Top notch, top shelf.
Is that Time Machine Tour or is that Clockwork Angels?
I'd have to see the
those are the I think he incorporated both at some point. That might be the Clockwork Angels.
Okay.
Because the clock, on the album cover, the clock hands are pointing to different symbols, and those are some of the symbols.
Yeah.
But the whole clockwork, people get confused because of the cogs and the pieces of the clock mechanism as it relates to the steampunk design and all that. But yeah, man.
The only kit that I saw was, how much he tries to fit in there, but the only bigger kit in the room next door from where he is right there, Terry Bozzio had his kit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Terry's kit was, how many symbols do you have? You got 300 of them already, but okay. You had to climb into this thing to play.
Yeah.
There's so much fun.
Just being able to own one of those symbols is it's like a work of art. I mean, look at those things. They're beautiful.
Yeah, I think I have the one crash over.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. That's incredible.
Those are amazing.
They are. I was just talking to Dan about this on last week's podcast about Neil's anthem, the NHL, the National Hockey Anthem. What do you know about that and whatever you can, talk about?
Well, he told me, he says, can you believe it? Hockey Night in Canada wants me to do a drum-tastic version of the theme. I said, really? Yeah, we're going to record it over on Sunset Boulevard. That's the studio there, and then they're going to do a video. And I said, really? Can I come and I'll photograph it for free? I mean, being a hoser, Hockey Night in Canada. Look, the Toronto Maple Leafs, my favorite team. I know there's people out there that don't like Toronto, but I'm diehard Toronto. and I'm begging him, said, look, I want to do the whole shooting. I want to do the whole thing. And he's laughing. He says, I already told the sports network that I got my own photographer and they got to pay you. It's like, okay. It's like, I'm in. So
nice.
We did the morning session at the recording studio with the full orchestra. And this was before we started. And it just so happened that the Stanley Cup was in town for some event. I don't know who reached out to the guys at probably the Sports Network reached out to the guy who's in charge of bringing the Stanley Cup around, and they brought it to the studio, and everybody, I mean, it turned every guy in there into an 8-year-old boy. You know, everybody wanted to hold the cup. Everybody wanted to touch the cup. Everybody wanted to pretend they're drinking from the cup. It was just, and of course, you've probably read stories with Neil saying how he was such a horrible skater.
Skated on his ankles,
Yes, on his ankles. And the fact that he couldn't play hockey, him standing there with the Stanley Cup with a drum kit that's made of, it's all in NHL teams. It's like, that's sort of crazy to think of.
So cool, man. Yeah. And he's got the biggest smile on his face, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And there's a jersey that they made. There it is there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the Boston Bruins symbol right on the front there of his beanie. Love it.
Not intended to be that way.
I love it. I grew up with the Bruins, so. Yeah.
Well, it was part of the original 6, right?
Totally, man. Yeah. Right. That's right. Wow, that's a great shot. That's an excellent shot.
Yeah.
Love it.
That was after the morning was the session for the recording of it, which he was conducting the orchestra, which was really great.
Yeah.
And in the afternoon, we did the video at a studio for the music video that you would have seen on Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah. And
this was after the video, but there was one moment. It's in one of his books. I don't remember which one of them. It's a shot of him. I'm over on a ramp area looking over. They're setting up the shot, and then he looks over at me and he's got this smile on his face, and I look over him. I got the shot, and he says later on, he says, I was telling you telepathically, whatever. He says, can you believe it? Can you believe we're actually doing this? They're paying us to do this thing.
Amazing. So cool, man. Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Oh, beautiful.
The classic.
That's the R40.
Yes.
El Darko.
Yeah. That's great. That's
these I was sharing with you, typically if I'm at a particular show, Neil would say, well, where are you going to be? Where are you going to shoot tonight? As well, first half I'm going to be here, first or whatever. I'm going to be in the pit. He says, oh, good. And as we all know how busy he is during a performance, there's rarely a moment where he has a break. And when he does, I'd be in the pit, and these are the times he would, do a stupid face. He would be kind of goofy and fun. And I'm right there. I'm shooting it. So
that's a great.
I love this shit. He's like,
totally. I would, it's weird because I think in later tours, it felt like Neil was getting a little bit more playful during his playing, because you would see him kind of react to Alex or react to Geddy. Maybe he's always done that, but it seems as though maybe in the 80s, he was a lot more serious. The professor. Very still, focused, but maybe towards the latter tours, he was getting a little bit more playful behind.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
There was conversations with, when he was doing his drum solos. If you go back to the.
You want me to go back?
Yeah, the drum solos. Were very rehearsed. Every part will be thought out. Every section, there would be no room for improvising whatsoever. And then later on, he started getting a little more, okay, I'll see where I'm gonna go with this. You know, you have a blueprint of what you're gonna play, but then give yourself some opportunity to have some fun with it. And that's, as you're pointing out, it got a little more playful. He would be doing a little more improvising in the playing, which was a lot of fun. A lot
Totally.
of fun.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's move on. Here we go. All right, good. And you mentioned Neil's car collection. He loved cars.
Yeah.
Bangers and mash.
Can you reveal what sort of cars he had or what he loved the most? I mean, you can answer any question you feel comfortable with, but I'm curious as a car person, we know like Jay Leno is famous for his car collection, but I'd love to know what sort of, did he like more of the smaller kind of coupe speeder cars? Did he like big cars, small cars?
He liked unique, interesting, well-built. It was, classic stuff. And obviously this is not one of his cars.
Right.
This is a whole other story.
Yeah.
But all his cars, if they weren't silver to begin with, he had them painted silver.
Interesting.
The Silver Surfer, he called all them Silver Surfers. The DB5, that the James Bond car, he had the actual DB5, the James Bond, DB9,
Wow.
the Mura. I am the worst person to talk about cars because I got, if it's got four wheels and it goes here to there.
Yeah, right. That's good.
It's good enough.
What's the story behind this picture here?
Oh, this is a fun story. He calls me up. He says, okay, I joined this racing team and it's for a circuit they call the Le Mans, not Le Mans like in France, but lemon racing.
Right.
And you have to be invited in. You have to have a sense of humor. All of the cars are themed. Obviously, this one's bangers and mash because we have some Brits with us, and a piece of crap car, this Healy. And he says, we're going to do the circuit, and you are now the team photographer. So I got you a ticket for Utah. Fly up there, meet us there. I said, well, why don't I just drive with you? No. You're flying up there. I'm driving by myself. Well, okay. He could go for hours and hours driving. He just had that sensibility, that wonderful Zen-like quality that was incredibly peaceful for him. So I get up to Utah and we have this car. This is going to be the very first race. And the first day we're doing the trials to get everything set up. And the engine blows up. And we're going, okay, where the hell are we going to get an engine for this thing in friggin' Utah? Finding an engine for this in America is crazy to begin with. So our mechanic, Ken Lovejoy, our great buddy, we call him Clouseau, Inspector Clouseau. I said, Ken, what are we going to do? He says, give me a half hour. And I'm like, okay. He comes back later on and he says, okay, guys, finding an engine impossible here in Utah. I just found a Jensen Healy engine here at the track under a table collecting dust. The guy will sell it to us for, I think it was $500 or whatever it was. We got to go pick it up now. It's like, okay, so we grabbed the truck. We grabbed a cherry picker from one of our friends that we're pitting next to. And we went over, got it up in the truck, went back to the pit area. We didn't pull the tranny. We pulled the engine out of this one and started putting the new engine into this. And we didn't finish till about 10:30 at night. I'm in there because I used to race as well. So
Wow.
I'm also photographing and I'm wrenching the car as well with Neil. He's wrenching. He's right in there in the whole thing. I got a photograph of that. And 10:30, we finally finish up, fire the engine up. We got a standing ovation. There he is there.
Wow.
And everybody goes like, oh, well, be careful of those hands, the drumming hands and everything. He's like, didn't give a shit. He's out there. He's part of the team, and
Right.
he's wrenching with all of us. He's great,
That is a good point. The vocalist who doesn't want to speak before a gig, or someone who's trying to protect their instrument, right? But seems like Neil didn't really give a shit. He just kind of did whatever he wanted to do, and if it is what it is. He made it out okay. He didn't seem to break any limbs or.
Well, he wanted to participate in real life. That's really the sense that I always get is like, world's greatest drummer, yes.
Yeah.
But he had it all in perspective at the same time too, that there's a whole world out there. And that he wanted not just to participate in it, but really be a part of it. So this doesn't actually surprise me that much.
Yeah, it's a great shot. It really is.
And that he wouldn't have his hands insured by Lloyd's of London or something like that.
We were under the car. It was in late afternoon, and I'm under wrenching with him. And then I grab my camera. I'm taking a couple of photographs. He comes from underneath the car, and at that moment, this gentleman comes by with his 11-year-old son. And this guy's a big guy. He's really heavy set. He's got a Rush t-shirt on. He walks right by the two of us. And Neil looks over at me and he goes, if he only knew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. It was just out of the blue, out random. He just had a Rush t-shirt on.
Totally out of just random, just walking right by us, just like that. And Neil gives me that shit-ass grin and is like, if he only knew.
I love it. That's so amazing.
That was a lot of fun. We did a number of races too. So.
Oh, really? Wow, that's great. That's incredible. What about this particular shot? This is a wonderful shot. Is this at his home or?
Yeah, this is up on the lake in the house in Quebec.
Yeah.
And I went up there. We were working on. Oh, I'm trying to remember which book. One of the far and away. One of those books. And he wanted some photos of him rowing out on the lake. Now, this is a very nice lake where there's no motorboats allowed at all. You can only have a rowboat or an electric engine. So I went out with him. I had the little electric boat, and he had that. He was really quite the oarsman. He was really good. I mean, obviously with those crazy ass arms of his, but. It is a beautiful place. Very nice.
It looks it, man. He looks very happy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And swimming. I would go out there in the morning on the dock, and he would swim. I could not believe how far he would swim across the lake and back again. It was like, wow. I mean, the stamina this guy had was amazing.
Yeah. This is a great shot. A little cross
Same
country.
lake.
Same lake. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks cold. Looks cold.
It's very cold. But he was very big on cross-country skiing.
Yeah.
And snowshoeing, which was a lot of fun. He would send videos to us, as the technology got a little bit better, and doing a little video, it was like, with the.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Neil liked California. I was sort of amazed when it sort of sat with me like, oh, Neil actually resides in California. For a while, I just didn't know. You love your rock icons, but I love Jimmy Page, but like, do I know exactly where he lives? I always envision him in a cottage, a rural English side, maybe on a little lake or a pond.
Neil and all those guys, I so associate them with Canada that it's hard for me to imagine them living anywhere else, much less California.
Yeah. Why do you think Neil liked California so much?
Well, he did come out here. It was after Jackie and Selena.
Yeah. And
when she passed, and then when Jackie passed, and he got on the motorcycle, and we didn't hear from him for a very long time. You would get a postcard, maybe.
Yeah.
And he came out here, and you remember he was learning to drum again, basically learn new techniques and sleeping on the sofa. And he got a place here in California because he was doing that, and he got introduced to Carrie out here. So, you know, because she's from here.
Sort of just a new chapter, right? Just setting off on a new chapter.
But also you got to keep in mind, obviously, he had the house in Quebec, he had the house there, and how many months of the year touring in Europe, South America, or wherever he is, rarely was he here in California.
Right. Sort of like a summer vacation place too, right? Just a place to get warm.
But I tell you, honestly, his heart was here in this place right here.
It seems it. Yeah, it definitely seems it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, even in the summertime, that, you know, with the kids and everybody in the lake, and it was having a lot of fun there.
Yeah. This is a wild shot. I couldn't believe this was in your collection here. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. You know, remember when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Of course.
And Taylor and Dave Grohl, and of course Nick, were going to be doing the whole 2112 thing with the kimono and the whole 9 yards. And so they were rehearsing. Of course, this is a rehearsal hall here in the valley out in Van Nuys, and they wanted to make sure they got everything together. So Gad and Al and Neil were there, and they were playing along. So they were rehearsing this whole thing, and they asked me to come and just take some shots. And of course, you know, you don't have to ask me twice to have guys here at the same time. It was so much fun. And I gotta tell you, there's when I got there and I had my gear, I'm setting on my gear, and I got introduced to Dave, and I said, you know, I'm talking, we're just exchanging pleasantries, and he goes, Neil's going to get me a coffee. And I look at him going, okay, yeah, okay. It's like, but friggin' Neil Peart is going to get me a coffee. Yeah, well, he made dinner last night. I was, you know, I was like, okay, yeah. But he was just so jazzed, the fact that, you know, the humanness of that man. I mean, he was incredible. He's so much fun. He was a lot of fun to hang around with. And of course, that goofball there, Alex, you know, as I was sharing with you before, I was banned from being in the same room with Alex for a while, because the two of us, I did training of Second City in Toronto, and he's one of the funniest guys I've ever known. And the two of us instigating a lot of crap, you know, where everybody's laughing so hard, the tears are flowing, and oh man.
That's awesome, man. Great stories. Yeah. We'd love to have David Grohl on the show. Dave, if you're listening, we wanted, Dave's, in my view, these are guys who grew up in rock bands and ended up obviously getting into a giant rock band like Foo Fighters and Nirvana, but still at the core of it are just fans, right? Yeah. They're like us. They're around the same age. So, you know, Rush, Zeppelin, Sabbath, all those bands were important to them. And here they are, like actually being able to jam with their idols. The same way Neil would jam, you know, would maybe play with someone that was his idol, you know, maybe John Entwistle or whomever. But so cool.
That the face on that kick drum is
is that his dad?
It's his dad, yeah.
That's his dad. My God. Yeah. That's cool.
And he's watching Taylor play. He's like,
yeah. I was saying that he's a really tall, lanky, just really the body of a drummer, you know, just hanging over this kit like an ape, right?
He's
so cool.
It was so wiry watching.
Yeah.
Him. We were at we went to see Stuart Copeland was playing in the orchestra he composed the score for the silent picture of Ben-Hur, and it was here in the Valley.
Wow.
And I call up Neil and says, hey, I'm going to get some tickets to see Stuart play do the Ben-Hur thing. He says, I got him already. He already sent him over to me. Do you want to go? I said, yeah, hello. So we took my wife, Corey, and Carrie. And so the four of us drove over there, and we're in the in the VIP room upstairs before the show, and Taylor was there, as well as Chad Smith. And you know, Chad, I mean, he is freaking hilarious. He's such a funny guy. And they're calling for, you know, the lights go on for the show's going to start. So I'm walking down the hallway with Chad, and I'm going to be a complete goofball. And I lean over to him and say, hey, Chad, I'm not supposed to tell you this. I'm not supposed to reveal. But when Neil's going to retire, I'm going to take over for him. And Chad looks at me like, what the what?
Yeah.
I got you, buddy.
I love it. I love it. This is a great shot. I love it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
These, you know, I was going to say, after looking at these, I love seeing, well, there were several photos, I think, that came out of the 90s where maybe they were promotional photos for cymbals or for whatever drum manufacturer Neil was working with, that were taken outside. So Neil was playing his kit outside on the dock, on something like that. Did you shoot those? Do you remember those? Or
no?
Oh,
I think Andrew took those.
Andrew, okay. But just the fact of having his kit outside, I just love it. You know, being able to play, and you know, it's a wood instrument. You know, so just being able to, there seems to be a nice connection with nature and the music and the instrument itself that makes it seem just like the perfect backdrop. You know.
Yeah, this was a fun shoot. Obviously for the R40 for the press and for the tour book.
Yeah.
And because I got a note from him. He says, "Okay, you got to shoot my portrait with the new kit." And I'm going, and he says, "Let's not do something boring like we did the last time." I was like, "All right, what do you want to do?" And you know, so I let him get a few ideas. And of course, I'm sure you all know the story where the wood that they used to build this kit and the El Darko one came from that Romanian 1,500-year-old wood that they dredged from the river in Romania. And, you know, it's like, John, the Wood Whisperer over at DW, you want this kit made out of 1,500-year-old wood dredged from the Romanian River? Why not? Let's do it. And so we had the idea. I says, why don't we shoot it? He said, why don't we shoot it in the forest? And I'm thinking, holy crap, does he want to go to Romania to shoot this?
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Go, oh, no. He said, no, let's find a forest somewhere nearby. So I called up, my wife was working on one of her shows, and her location manager, Veronique, she knows all of the different areas, of course, in LA. And she suggested going up to Griffith Park. And so I went over, I looked at a couple photos, and I said, okay, let me take a drive. And I scouted this location. I had 3 locations I was picking out in this one. And I decided on this one, I was going to do 3 setups, but this would be in the final one, because as you see, the sun setting in behind him, that's not Photoshop. That's the actual sun.
Right. That's great.
And so, you know, I had arranged for the $1 million bond and the whole 9 yards. And we got there, and the park officials would not let us drive the truck up the dirt road to get us closer to this. We had to get a gator and drag the road cases up to this spot. And I got Lauren and George, some of the guys from Mates, the rehearsal, got a crew of guys that had to build the kit and the platform in this spot. And it was a pretty warm day. It was nice. But you know, it's not the most ideal place to do a photo shoot, but I had set it up, and I knew exactly what I wanted to shoot in the 3 setups. And being this was the last one, we got closer to the time where we're all looking, all the guys are looking at their watch, like, we got to get the hell out of here, because they got to close, they'll close down the park. We got to get all the gear back to the rehearsal place, because we got to get to this. And, you know, there was a whole juggling act. And they were complaining because the bugs were bothering them, and the whole 9 yards. It was like, oh, yo. So at one point, Neil says, we're not going anywhere until Craigie gets the shot he wants. So shut up. You know,
Wow.
Wow.
okay, that
Oh,
was it.
he's the boss. Did he play the kit at all outside? Oh wow, that must have been incredible.
It was like there was people. I mean, it was open to the public. This is a public park, and some people were coming by. They heard the drums.
Cool.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That guy sounds like Neil Peart. Whoa.
Do I hear Rush?
Yeah.
It was like I was waiting. That was the moment I was waiting for, to have that light come from behind him to backlit him and get that shot.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, he really liked that. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is some of the R40 stuff, right?
Yeah, this is the same. This is the same rehearsal place where we're with the Foo Fighters, and we finished that photo shoot at the park, outdoors. And then he says, "Okay, I got another idea." I go, "Oh no, what do you want now?" And it's like, "Okay, I want to dress like 2112." So I go over.
He wants to mock his former self.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so much fun. So I was over at the wardrobe department at 20th Century Fox, and I'm in the wardrobe department texting him images of kimonos, the wig, the mustache, the whole 9 yards. And he picked out the items. I did a little trim on the hair and the whole 9 yards. And then I bought these aerosol cans that have the fog. I got a couple 1,000 par lights. I stuck them up behind there. And on either side, I have George was on the right side and Lauren was on the other side. And they're spraying the aerosol as I'm shooting, and he's posing for this whole thing. And of course, I got crap later on. I got poor Lauren. All this stuff, the aerosol goes down on the kit. And you know how beautiful he keeps these kits.
It's like
Lauren,
a dust.
Lauren is an artist in himself.
Oh,
so
definitely.
Like, oh shit, I gotta clean all this, rah, 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 like all that crap. But it was a lot of fun. And
you're right. People forget how significant Lauren Wheaton was to the keeping Neil going, and his meticulousness in setting up the kits and tearing them down and making sure everything was right for Neil during the live performance. Yeah, just there
was another shot that Neil wanted in here. I have it. We never used it. It was I took this guy, the shot of him in the kimono standing next to the tubular bells back there, the bells, and I have it where he's standing next to it. And then there's another shot that I married together of Neil actually playing the kit. So it looks like the old Neil from 2112 looking over the kit and watching his older self play kind of thing.
I love it.
Nice.
Never used it. But after this was shot, we did this really early in the morning. Ged shows up at the rehearsal, and I went over and I had my camera and I'm showing him some of the pictures. He looks at it, he goes, oh, he starts shaking his head. You guys are fucking nuts. He just like laughing. And then an hour and a half later, he comes over, hey, would you shoot my portrait for today? I said, yeah.
Of course. That's great. Here we go. So Neil's practicing, right?
This is the last warm-up on the tour. This is the Forum.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So you're seeing the last time he ever warmed up.
Oh wow. Wow. Right up to showtime. Neil's playing. He's playing,
Yeah, that was after the nap.
After the nap. Incredible.
It's just like they gotta have a nap before a show, right?
Incredible.
Yeah. And that kit, Lauren would have to build that kit as well. So
oh wow. Yeah, beautiful. It's a beautiful kit.
It was a tight area.
And you're a drummer as well, right?
I try.
Yeah.
Nothing. I had my I got diagnosed with this rare neurological condition called hereditary spastic paraplegia.
Uh-huh.
It affects my walking, I need a cane and a walker now to get around.
Yep.
But I was at a physical therapist and she said, I'm going to show you this exercise. And it's not rinky dink, and that's a technical term. And she was doing this thing with her feet. I said, oh, that's like a double kick drum. You a drummer? I said, well, I try to play. She said, you know what? Drumming would be a really good therapy for you. You should get a drum kit. I said, all right. So I get home, I call Neil up. I said, my therapist said that drumming would be really good. So can I have one? You're not getting any of my drums. You're going to get kicked out of the neighborhood. He said, but why don't you get an electronic kit so that way you can just beat the crap out of it and nobody can hear it except for you. All right. And he said, well, I can get you a Roland, but the artist price is going to be expensive. But I found a kit and I showed it to him. And he says, yeah, that's a good one. And I set it up here, and he came over one day with Olivia and we're hanging out, and he says, show me the kit. So I sat down and he says, well, play it. Now I'm having to sit down on this kit and play in front of Neil freaking Peart. Like no intimidation there at all.
Right.
So, so he had the headphones on and I'm playing and he's like, good, all right. And he would show me a couple things and that was it. He said, okay, you need some lumber. And he gave me the sticks that he used on was Snakes and Arrows, I think it was.
Cool.
The drum kit. Yeah.
That's so cool. So what about this shot here? What are we looking at?
This was the final moment at the Forum of the last show.
Wow.
And nobody had it. Ged or Al had no idea that he was going to do this. And that the look on Ged's face, it was like incredibly surprised. And, because he got up at the end and, for a while there, he was taking pictures from the drum kit of the guys on stage. And he puts that down and he runs out. I have a shot. It's not part of this collection, but I have a shot of him sneaking up behind Ged and tapping him on the shoulder. And Ged turns around and is like, holy crap, he's here. And I managed to get, I think, 5 shots, and then he was out of there.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sure all you guys have heard, as soon as that last drum beat happens, he's off on
history.
And
I have a friend who was at this show, and he's, even though they didn't say anything to that effect, he said that when he saw Neil come out with the, and come up front like this, then he knew that was it. Because he had never done that before in his professional life, to him, that was like the biggest tell that there was never going to be another Rush show.
Yeah.
So,
And even this tour, because the guys, you got a lot of, his arm, his shoulder. I mean, he was in a lot of pain on that last tour before that. And it was like, and of course, Alex had, some arthritis he was dealing with. You gotta figure, Neil would go drive whatever, 500 miles on the motorcycle to the next show and then play 3 hours. And then, it's like, because we would do I would watch him come off. There was a couple nights after the show where he had to be wheeled on a chair down the hallway because there was so much pain going on.
Oh wow!
Wow!
I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's just like he's just given so much. To so many, just amazing. I think he gave 100% of everything he had for as long as it was possible for him to do it. He really did. Yeah, right up to the very end. So we have Doane Perry, right?
Right.
And then Stuart Copeland. And then we see some of Neil's vehicles, his collection over to the left-hand side. This is a great shot. I love the Police. I love Stuart Copeland. I just think he's a fabulous musician. Of course, love Jethro Tull as well.
Yeah.
So tell us about this shot here.
yeah, this is the cave, what we called it. And I think you can see there's a Corvette, silver Corvette is in the picture, the Mura.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, sir. But anyways, this was Neil's last birthday,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
the last one. And as he, you know, he never like, he would allow me to come in with the camera because we just, you know, we have known each other for that long time. And, you know, I felt comfortable because I'm a complete goofball with him. And, but the birthday was coming up, and we all know at this point, the, you know, the cancer was pretty bad at this point.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, he never gave up. He just kept going. He would look at me and he says, I know you're in pain. I'm not in pain, brother. I'm not in pain. You know, don't worry. I'm okay. You know, this is what's happening. I'm accepting, you know, this is the way it's going to happen. And, you know, and there was over 3 years of basically keeping it quiet, and all the treatments and the stuff that he had to go through was horrible. I mean, it was just a horrible thing. And as you know, I'm sure you both know people who've had to deal with cancer.
Yep.
Yeah.
My sister died at 43. My mom, you know, it's brutal. It's a brutal thing. But
Yeah.
He sent me a note. He says, "Bring your camera on Thursday." All right, for the birthday, yeah. So all he wanted was this shot. He wanted to have Doan and Stewart in the shot, the three brothers, the three drummers, and of course, you know, Doan is what an incredible gentleman that Doan is. It's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. He incredibly articulate. I can spend hours talking to him about everything. And of course, Stewart, you know, with the history of the Police, but not only that, his solo stuff, the African
solo stuff, yeah.
Oh my God. You know,
Just a true percussionist, you know.
Yeah.
Between the three of them, that's like a you know, a graduate class right there.
There it is. You're right.
You could use the word elite, I think. These are. Did they know when this picture was taken that he was sick? I mean, I don't know who was aware, who, you know, because he kept it very quiet. I don't know who was aware or not aware. But I mean, these two were aware of what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. We had spent a lot. See, typically on Fridays, if not for other days of the week, I would go over for lunch. We would all hang out together. It would be either Neil and I, or Neil and Doan and I, or Neil and Stanky, or, you know, whomever was in town. We would get together. Neil liked his cheeseburger and a milkshake, and you know, and God bless Matt Scannell, you know, from Vertical Horizon. Matt would stop by the Cafe 50s and get the burger and the milkshakes, and all of us would have a great time. And if Ged and Al were in town, we would all get together. But we would spend as much time as possible, because we knew what was, you know, what was happening. But you kept on saying your prayers and hoping that there would be a new turn in the road to keep them going. And
I know the Rush community is just reeling from the passing of Neil, but I want to just let you know, because you had a different relationship with Neil than us fans did, from a real personal friend level, that we are very sorry for your loss. I mean, that's from me to you, Greg. I mean, and I know Dan feels the same way. I'm very sorry for the loss of your friend. And, you know, there's no easy way to absorb this sort of thing, but to just better understand it, and, you know, all that.
Yeah. It's like, he was like an older brother that I never had. It was, you know, I would go through some shit and I would be like, I'm depressed about this, or some other shit going on. And he would just give me that look, Craigie, come on now. And we would sort of talk things through, and he would give me a little bit of insight. He never wanted to say, you got to do it this way, or you got to do it this way. He would illuminate a corner of the conversation so you can get an idea, you can see a different outlook of certain things, and then you can work yourself through it, though. But, a wonderful, a great heart. I mean, people know of the charitable things that the band did on them as a whole, but other things that he did on his own, like amazing. What a big heart he had. And on the anniversary of this year, or of his death, I thought of that day, because he would always say, what excellent thing can I do today?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a donation to the St. Jude's Hospital for Kids for cancer treatment. And that's in I put it in his name.
Wow.
And I said, if I got a big chunk of change, I'm going to give those kids a lot of money, because it would be something that he would say, you're doing a good thing, Craigie, and
yeah,
because no kid should have to face cancer.
Right.
Absolutely not. That is so heartbreaking, man. Absolutely.
I'm just sort of blown away also by this picture that, if you're saying this is 4 months before he passed, and you look at this picture and I can't tell anything was wrong, but that's kind of the nature of the beast, is like, it's fine until it isn't.
Well, so, when he was diagnosed, they were going to do they had the surgery, and Lauren came to town, and we're like trying to figure out, is it going to be okay? Can we go to the hospital and see him after the surgery? Would it be advised if they're going to give us a hard time about it? And at one point, I said, Lauren, look, he's like our brother. Screw it. Let's just go. And I got us some white lab coats with the doctor's name on it. Mine was Dr. Liebman, obstetrics, and Lauren was veterinarian care. And we went to the hospital, put the cloaks on. We get right up the elevator, and we go down the hallway, and I knew where his room would be. And I walk in the room, he's in bed, he's got the bandage on, the whole 9 yards. And he looks over at Lauren and I, and he just shakes his head like, oh, you assholes.
I love
laughing,
it.
and that was it. And on the sofa there, we got Stanky, and, we got some of the other guys there. It was like, so all of us were all there having a good time, and, joking with him, and bringing some levity, of course. And every time a doctor would come in, we would all get up with our doctor jackets on and say, hello, doctor, hello, doctor, hello, doctor. And they wanted us to leave at one point because dinner was there. And Neil says, all right, you guys get the hell out. I'm having my dinner now. And we're not leaving until we all get bandages like yours. And the nurse went out, and 20 minutes later, she came back with bandages, and she's putting hashtag goofball, hashtag fake doctor, hashtag,
Amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
This is great. All right, let me exit out of here real quick.
Yep.
And let's see here.
I think that was all of them, right?
That's it. Yes, my friend. Let's see. Stop share.
I just want to add to what John was saying before, that, it's to the fans. We lost a drummer. We lost this, person who means a lot to us. But for someone who knew him personally, we are so sorry. And I'm sure it stings very much right to this day. And, we hope that, by talking about it and, showing us the photos, that helps you move the needle a little bit. I mean, I know that that's not everything, but, but being able to, share your feelings and share the memories and that sort of thing. I find for me, when I've lost somebody, that matters, and that helps. So
it's there's a photo. I can't take it down from the wall, but there's a photo behind me. I think it was the, I want to say it was Time Machine Tour. And it's a really nice shot of him. Everybody's been using it online. He's got a very nice smile. He's behind the kid. It's blue behind him and the whole 9 yards. And he's got a very pleasant, very nice smile, very warm. And he called me up. He says, you know that shot of yours that you took with me and I'm smiling? Oh, yeah. Can you send me the JPEG? Because I got to use it. I'm thinking, oh, he's got to put it together for a press photo or whatever he's going to do with it. It's yours, whatever. I sent it over to him. That was like in September of whatever that year. And at Christmas time, he shows up with Carrie and Olivia, and we're all having a little something here. And he pulls out this big Christmas package. And I open it up, and it was that photo that he had nicely framed. And he signs it to my friend Craigie, the only shooter that can coax a smile out of this Bubba at work.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It sits there behind me. So it's the first thing I see in the morning when I turn the light on, and it's the last thing I see when I go to bed at night. I turn the light off. I say, good. I just always say, good night, buddy. And so, it is, he's still with me all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, people may think that's a bunch of bullshit.
Not at all.
No, not at all. If once you're a grown up and you've lost a few people, you start to learn that that's actually how you cope. You kind of carry them around with you.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of getting over it or getting past it. It's a matter of learning to live with it as it is now, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's just,
And why would you want to get past him? He was a great guy. There's no reason you would want to get past him.
oh, no, we would have so much fun together, just being a goofball.
I want to thank you for opening up your life and your stories, and these are just what a wonderful journey you've had as an artist, and of course your friendship with Neil, how rich that was. And there's a lot of fans, like I've said before, and we hear it a lot. There's a lot of fans that don't know how to deal with the passing of Neil on a different level, because it's someone they never knew. But I can't tell you how many people have told me when they heard that Neil passed that they just broke down. They didn't know how to cope. They didn't know what to do. So I think an episode like this, hearing your friendship and kind of pulling away the veil of mystery behind Neil, will help a lot of people realize not just the performer, but the man. And that's going to really help a lot of people cope. Right. It's like, wow, Neil was just an average guy. He lived an average life. He had a child and a wife and liked to have cheeseburgers and milkshakes and hang out and do simple, basic things, and everybody's entitled to that, So I think I told you in passing, Greg, that we had an episode where we were talking about Neil and how after doing this podcast and talking more about his life and career, that I started to feel guilty as a fan. It was like, what do I want from Neil Peart? He's given so much to me already. What more could anybody possibly want? Look what he's done for us, So I think a part of me, I was telling Dan, was starting to feel a little guilty of that, because as a fan, as I mentioned to you before, you want more. You want to be closer to your idols, right? And people forget that's maybe not what they want,
Right, exactly. I was delighted to hear, though, that he liked cheeseburgers and milkshakes. That will put a spring in my step all day now. It's these little details that you hear about that really, I think, help give depth to the full. Because to me, he was a superhero. And I don't want to say I didn't see him as a human being, but he meant something to me that the average person on the street does not mean to me. And since he's passed, we've talked to you, Kevin Anderson, who's a very good friend of his. It helps form a more complete and I think realistic picture of what the guy was really like. Because those of us who were just fans maybe had an image of him that's not totally realistic, that he had these like superpowers or something like, and he was fantastic at what he did, but he also just liked cheeseburgers and milkshakes. It's good to know that about him. It's good to know that he enjoyed these little pleasures in life. That's good.
Yeah, well, the place that we would get the milkshakes and burgers from had I don't know how many milkshakes that they had. So we were working our way through the list.
Cool.
You know, and it's like, okay, what are you getting this week? I'm going to get the root beer one. Okay, I'll get the orange creamsicle one. Okay, and that was a favorite. And we would try them all these different milkshakes. And him and I would just walk around the corner to Starbucks and get, you know, the tray of the hard-boiled eggs and stuff, and that would be a lunch. And we would go around the corner to the Mexican takeout place and get stuff there. And no, I mean, everybody, I understand. I can appreciate and I understand because of how people perceived him,
right? Yeah,
you know, on the stage and everything. But you know, yes. And I am a fan as well. I mean, how could I not be a fan when I would hear or I would see certain things, like when Clockwork Angels, when doing the concept for Clockwork Angels, he was sharing with me what the kid is going to look like, and we're flipping the pages of the story, and I mean, before any of this was really out there.
Right.
And understanding the story, and I was, he was telling me the story of Clockwork Angels, and I'm like, you know, this is great.
Yeah. Like, tell me more. What else?
Tell me more.
Yeah.
And then we finished. I said, Neil, this really needs to be a movie. We really need to make a movie of this thing. And I wrote, I adapted the book into I have a first draft of the book into a screenplay for the movie. If anybody wants to make it, let's, you know, but.
Well, that's a good segue. Tell us what you're doing now. And you write screenplays, you write for television.
Trying.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the next chapter in my 60s, what I would like to do. And I've been an actor before in Toronto, some film and TV stuff I've did up there, but
anything we would know about?
I don't think so. There was I was in an episode of a kids show. There was a film with Leslie Nielsen called Reckless Disregard. Not a funny film. He played a serious guy. But you know, there was stuff I would do, but it was never. I never wanted to be an actor. I did the acting because I wanted to be a cinematographer, and if anybody's been on a set, you know, right, there's so much wasted time you're waiting for it. I would take that time and go and hang out with the DP or with the person and ask questions of what they're doing. Well, everybody else is there going having a smoke.
Right. Yeah. My wife, a long time ago, she used to do production work, and she would describe them as like 20-hour days. And about 30 minutes of that was actual constructive time where some progress was made. And the rest of it is just crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm quite familiar. My wife, Corey Conlon, is a production designer. I met her when she was doing the X-Files, and I was working at 20th Century Fox on the lot. And X-Files was shooting on stage 5 and 6. And I played a morgue attendant on one of the episodes with David Duchovny was directing that episode, and nice. And there's a character. He's a really interesting guy.
Yeah, I like the X-Files actually.
Yeah. So she did the X-Files and Cold Case, Scandal, Coma, the movie, and she's on a Apple TV show called Truth Be Told, the second season right now, and it is exactly what you were describing. You know, you spend days and days and days and days for a half hour. You know? Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So shifting back to Rush, and you were mentioning you are a fan. We ask every guest that's on Two Guys Talking Rush what their top 5 Rush albums are. If you can't answer that, that's fine. It's a difficult question to ask, but do your best.
And I've made the job a little bit easier by allowing live albums.
Oh, okay. Well, I
See,
my,
that opens everything up right there.
yeah, well, I'm not, the live ones, yeah, okay, fine. But I'm more of the studio album guy.
Okay.
And Hemispheres is right up there for me for some reason. I love Hemispheres, moving pictures, of course. And geez, Neil was not on the first one. I had actually had the first one on 8-track.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Oh yeah, John's gonna go for it.
I have an 8-track of that right behind me.
No.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go.
It's worth waiting for. I champion the first album. Even though Neil's not on it, I think it's a great, just like straightforward hard rock record.
Yeah.
And they could have maybe made a nice little 3 or 4 album career out of it if they wanted to. Oh yes.
Oh, you got the player.
Oh yeah.
Oh, crap. Was it still work?
It still works beautifully. Crisp.
Wow.
I know.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Well, I think of when I first met him, the permanent waves is up there, but I really, of course, Clockwork Angels is big. Is really.
What's your, and that's 5. And let me ask you, The Garden is the final song.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How, I'm thinking like in terms of the legacy of Rush as a whole, and then of course the passing of Neil, and having The Garden and the lyrics of that song and just the epicness of that song be the last song of their final album.
Yeah.
Is that like prophetic or what, man? I mean, how?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable,
Yeah. And you look at, the shows that I would be at, and I would turn around and I see the faces when that song is played. It was like the tears.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
there are not a lot of bands like that late in their career who are still turning in like relevant, artistic, immediate stuff. That's not to say, that once they get older, bands don't have anything to offer anymore. But it's rare, definitely, that a band that with that kind of longevity, 40 years, would still have something that relevant to say at that, on the very last song of the last album.
We asked that question, like I said, of every guest that comes on, and Clockwork Angels always comes up
every time
on the list of top 5 albums.
Yeah.
Well,
interesting.
You listen to. I mean, I heard parts of it before it was released. I was over at the house, and we were going to go for dinner because I was helping him at the house. And he said, "We're going to go fancy. Don't you have a shirt?" And I go, "No, I came in a t-shirt. What am I going to do?" He said, "All right." And he throws me one of his shirts. He said, "Okay, we're going for dinner." And he had, I don't know if it was a thumb drive or whatever it was. He plugged it into the DB9, cranked that up, and it was Headlong Flight.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And I was like,
Sonic.
And it was amazing. It was just brilliant. I said, "Can I just sit in the car and listen to more?"
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, is there a place where people can find out more about what you're doing? And of course, any projects that you want to plug now, you feel it's wide open if you want to plug anything you're working on now, or where we can, if someone says, "Oh, I want to see your photography," is there a place to go? Facebook, website, anything?
No, I had one for my arty stuff. I don't have any of that stuff up. I just don't. I don't know why. I just never bothered. And people have asked me for images. I did the charity thing with Nancy, his sister, to raise the money, and we auctioned off a bunch of my photos, and that's the only time that I've actually had them up online. It's just, once it's done, it's done, and I'm sure that people can appreciate that. But
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes photographers sell their work, but you don't sell any of your work, it sounds like.
I haven't even thought of it. That's just if there's interest, yeah, sure. Might be a. I just want to be able to. I know the band. Obviously, because we're sitting here, the three of us sitting here.
Sure.
It's very special to a lot of people, and having an image. Sure. I mean, I can understand wanting to have.
If there's ever a time where you kind of pull all that together and want to do that, the door is always open on this podcast for you to come on. You just send me an email. We'll schedule a time for you to come on. And even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes, not a full episode, if you ever just want to come on an episode and hang out, you could do that as well. Obviously, you're invited at any time. And I just want to say thank you. Absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, and every fan that listens to this podcast, because they, there's a lot of fans that truly love this band. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for being so open and for sharing with us. We really appreciate it a lot.
No, and people, all the fans of the guys out there, and obviously the fans of Neil, just take with you the fact that they wrung that towel dry.
Yeah.
They gave everything. There are some people that will phone it in. They never, ever, ever would phone anything in.
No.
All three of them, Ged, Al, and Neil. I mean, I'd look at physically what he was like coming off and going, I don't know how you do it. And then now you're going to get on the motorcycle? Jesus.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when you used to bike between shows, like, holy cow. I mean, even that, but Go ahead.
But everybody should know just that, they gave everything.
Yeah.
They gave everything. And we're blessed having them come in and influence so many other people.
Sure.
It's fun to see it.
We're very lucky to have had Rush and have Neil in our lives. And that's it, folks. Another incredible episode of Two Guys Talking Rush with the amazing Greg Murray Renwick, incredible photographer, writer, musician, an all-around Renaissance man of his own, and of course, a close friend with Mr. Neil Peart. And thank you very much for coming on to Two Guys Talking Rush.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Take care. Take care.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Wow, Dan.
Yeah.
Another mammoth episode.
I'm happy about it, honestly. I like these epic episodes, where we fill up the whole album side. It's good.
Oh yeah. This is like a 4-sided double album.
It's
episode.
Tales from Topographic Oceans, man. That's what it is.
It's physical graffiti.
Yeah, except, and for Tales, I was going to say for that one, you can actually sit through the whole thing, though.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Oh my God. Well, folks, there it is. I think Dan and I are pretty spent. We've been going for a good 3 hours. Great episode, and we keep them coming here at Two Guys Talking Rush. And my name is John Kane.
I am the delightful Dan Buckspan.
And you've tuned in to another incredibly mammoth, awesome episode of Two Guys Talking Rush. What can I say, folks? Rush rules.
Guys are talking, rush two guys talking, rush two guys talking, rush two guys talking, rush two guys.